The past decade was marked by a series of shocking events that captivated the world's attention. From global pandemics to political upheavals, these events reshaped societies, altered geopolitical dynamics, and left a lasting impact on our collective consciousness. In this video of the top 10 shocking events of the last decade, we delve into moments that shook the world, challenged our assumptions, and brought about significant changes across various spheres of life. But before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 10. Russian annexation of Crimea. In 2014, Russia's annexation of Crimea sent shockwaves through the international community. Following political unrest in Ukraine, Russian forces occupied and eventually annexed Crimea, a region previously part of Ukraine. This act violated international law and triggered a major geopolitical crisis. The move sparked condemnation from many countries, leading to economic sanctions imposed on Russia. The annexation exacerbated tensions between Russia and the West, with repercussions felt in global politics for years to come. The event highlighted the fragility of territorial integrity and raised concerns about the balance of power in the region. It also underlined the complexities of international relations and the challenges of resolving disputes in a peaceful and diplomatic manner. Number 9. Rohingya crisis. The Rohingya crisis, which began in 2017, saw the Rohingya people, a Muslim minority group in Myanmar, face a brutal military crackdown. This resulted in mass displacement, as well as reports of widespread human rights abuses, including killings, sexual violence, and the burning of villages. The United Nations referred to it as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Hundreds of thousands of Rohingya fled to neighboring Bangladesh, overwhelming refugee camps and causing a humanitarian crisis. The international community condemned the violence and called for action to address the situation. Efforts to find a sustainable solution and ensure justice for the Rohingya continue, as the crisis remains one of the most alarming and tragic events of the past decade. Number 8. Notre Dame Cathedral fire. In 2019, the world was shocked by the devastating fire that engulfed the iconic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. The fire broke out on April 15th, causing significant damage to the centuries-old Gothic masterpiece. The flames consumed the roof and toppled the spire, leaving the cathedral's structure vulnerable. Firefighters battled the blaze for hours, and although there were fears of complete destruction, the main structure and the famous stained glass windows were ultimately saved. The event sparked an outpouring of grief and solidarity from people around the world, as the cathedral holds immense historical, cultural, and religious significance. The fire prompted a global effort to restore and rebuild Notre Dame, with generous donations pouring in from individuals and organizations. It served as a reminder of the vulnerability of even the most cherished cultural landmarks. Number 7. Black Lives Matter movement. The Black Lives Matter (BLM) movement emerged as a powerful force advocating for racial justice and an end to police violence against black people. Sparked by the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's killer in 2013 and gaining significant momentum after the killing of George Floyd in 2020, BLM protests spread across the United States and globally. The movement highlighted systemic racism, police brutality, and social inequalities faced by black communities. The shocking nature of the movement lay in its ability to galvanize millions of people from diverse backgrounds, leading to sustained protests, demands for police reform, and conversations about racial inequality in various spheres of society. The movement sparked important discussions and raised awareness about racial injustice, often confronting deep-seated biases and challenging existing power structures. Its impact extended beyond the last decade, resulting in significant shifts in public opinion, policy changes, and a renewed focus on racial equity and social justice. Number 6. Fukushima nuclear disaster. In 2011, Japan experienced a catastrophic event known as the Fukushima nuclear disaster. It was triggered by a powerful earthquake and subsequent tsunami, which severely damaged the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The disaster resulted in a nuclear meltdown, causing the release of radioactive materials into the environment. The immediate consequences were devastating. The local population was evacuated, and there were concerns about the health risks posed by radiation exposure. The incident raised significant questions about the safety of nuclear power and led to increased scrutiny and reassessment of nuclear energy policies worldwide. Efforts to contain the radiation and stabilize the plant lasted for years. The incident highlighted the need for improved safety measures in nuclear power plants and emphasized the long-term challenges associated with nuclear disasters. It serves as a reminder of the potential risks and consequences involved in harnessing nuclear energy. Number 5. Paris terror attacks. The Paris terror attacks, which occurred in November 2015, were a series of coordinated terrorist assaults that shocked the world. Perpetrated by ISIS militants, the attacks targeted various locations in Paris, including the Bataclan Concert Hall and several restaurants. The assault on the Bataclan, where a rock concert was taking place, was particularly devastating. Gunmen stormed the venue, taking hostages and launching a brutal assault that resulted in the loss of over 130 innocent lives and left hundreds injured. The Paris terror attacks sent shockwaves through society as people grappled with the realization that such violence could occur in the heart of a major global city. The event prompted an outpouring of grief, solidarity, and renewed efforts to combat terrorism and extremism worldwide. Number 4. Syrian Civil War. The Syrian Civil War, which began in 2011, was a devastating conflict that shocked the world. What began as a peaceful uprising against President Bashar al-Assad's regime quickly escalated into a full-scale war. The war witnessed the use of chemical weapons, mass displacement of civilians, and widespread destruction of cities and infrastructure. It also became a breeding ground for extremist groups such as ISIS, further exacerbating the violence. The humanitarian crisis caused by the war led to millions of people being displaced internally or seeking refuge in neighboring countries and Europe. The international community was deeply divided in its response to the conflict, and diplomatic efforts to find a resolution proved challenging. The Syrian Civil War remains one of the most tragic and shocking events of the last decade, with far-reaching consequences for the region and beyond. Number 3. Arab Spring. The Arab Spring was a series of uprisings and protests that swept across the Middle East and North Africa from 2010 to 2012. Sparked by the self-immolation of a Tunisian street vendor, these demonstrations demanded political reforms, social justice, and an end to authoritarian regimes. The movement quickly spread to countries like Egypt, Libya, Yemen, and Syria, leading to the overthrow of long-standing dictators and triggering significant political and social upheaval. The Arab Spring brought both hope and chaos, as citizens fought for democratic reforms but also faced violent crackdowns and power struggles. The repercussions of the Arab Spring are still felt today, with ongoing conflicts, power vacuums, and the rise of extremist groups in the region. It stands as a powerful reminder of the aspirations, challenges, and complexities of political change in the modern world. Number 2. Brexit Referendum. In 2016, the United Kingdom held a historic referendum on whether to remain in or leave the European Union, commonly known as Brexit. The shocking outcome came as a surprise to many, as the majority of voters chose to leave the European Union. The decision had far-reaching consequences, impacting the UK's political, economic, and social landscape. It led to a period of uncertainty and divisions within the country, as well as complex negotiations with the European Union regarding future trade agreements and other key aspects. The Brexit referendum not only reshaped the UK's relationship with Europe, but also had broader implications for the European Union itself. It sparked debates on nationalism, sovereignty, immigration, and the future of European integration, making it a defining moment of the last decade. Number 1. The Covid19 Pandemic. The emergence of the novel coronavirus and its rapid global spread led to an unprecedented pandemic. The virus caused severe respiratory illness, overwhelming healthcare systems, and resulting in millions of infections and deaths worldwide. Governments implemented strict lockdown measures, travel restrictions, and social distancing guidelines to contain the virus's spread. The pandemic had profound socio-economic impacts, causing job losses, business closures, and disruptions to education. Vaccines were developed and rolled out in record time, offering hope for controlling the virus. The COVID-19 pandemic changed daily life significantly, with mask wearing, remote work, and virtual communication becoming the new norm. It highlighted the vulnerabilities of healthcare systems and emphasized the importance of global cooperation in managing public health crises. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more videos like this, make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you in the next video.